Thank you, Mr Speaker. I agree with all of those who have spoken before in opposition to this bill that it is just frankly mean-minded. It is just another set of provisions that will suck money out of the pockets of the poorest New Zealanders for no benefit to anyone, and not even to significant savings. I'd like to check with the Honourable Phil Goff that he said that there's, what, $138 million in savings being made? That's right. So about the same amount of money that this government has spent on selling Mighty River Power. About the same amount of money that they've also now set aside for the bailout of Solid Energy. I mean, this government has got the money to make sure that every New Zealander who is entitled to gets access to the justice that they deserve. They just choose not to give it to them. They just choose to make sure that those who are the wealthiest get access to the public's resources, and they will do everything they can to suck the money for that out of the pockets of the poor. Now, this bill comes hard on the heels of the Family Court Reform Bill, which we also saw was a deliberate cost-cutting measure, not saving huge amounts of money in the scheme of things, but certainly making it much, much more difficult for the most vulnerable, including women and their children, to access the justice and the protections that they deserve. And it also comes just after a month, I think, where the Minister has had to withdraw her appeal against the Court of Appeal decision on previous legal aid decisions that this government had made, legal aid decisions that were declared in part to be unlawful. And I refer to the criminal fixed fee in complex cases policy, where actually the Criminal Bar Association took the government and this minister to court and was found to be right, that part of that process was indeed unfair. And that original legal aid changes to the fixed fees policy and complex cases policy was also designed as a deliberate attempt to suck some money back into government coffers so that they could spend it on wasteful projects, like the sale of our state assets, of which another one is due to happen soon, more spending on that, like bailing out Solid Energy, like the billion-dollar motorway madness that this government is undertaking. Where does all that money come from? Well, bit by bit, they're sucking it out of the poor. And what does it mean? It means that those who have the very least are the ones who are paying the very most. If you just look at the changes that the Select Committee has made, or the provisions of the bill, there are three areas I'd refer to. One is that those who are in arrears, those who have received legal aid at some point, but who are in arrears, are subject to a potential decline of any further application for legal aid. I mean, that's not going to save the government hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, but it's going to mean that those people will not get access to justice. It will mean that they're much more likely to suffer from unsafe convictions. It means they're much more likely to get prison time, for example, that they should not be receiving. It means that the currently 20,000 children of prisoners, that number will significantly increase as more and more families find themselves subject to legal processes that they cannot defend themselves against. We're unable to get decent legal representation because of these cuts and find themselves subject to unsafe and unfair convictions. There is interest to be charged. Where does this government come from when they think that the best thing to do with a family or a person who is living in poverty is to charge them more money? If someone has no money, this government seems to think that they'll just keep on squeezing them and squeezing them dry with ridiculous provisions like charging interest, where clearly there are cases that these people don't have the money to pay. What is the point of that? The beatings will continue until morale improves, that's right. And then, of course, you have the $50 fee. I mean, the Select Committee has brought that fee down, and for that we're very grateful. But by putting a financial barrier right at the very start of the process, you knock out those who simply can't afford it. The whole point of the legal aid system is to provide access to justice for those who can't afford it. So why then use this legislation simply to put in place more financial barriers to those who have the least resources? Now, I can hear the minister over there sighing like like something, sighing as if, maybe that's right, just sighing away there. But that's because she is not one of those who will be subject to this legislation.
Sorry to interrupt,
she is not
member.
one who will
Time
lose her access to justice because of this bill.
A point of order, Maturi.
I take personal offence at Judith Collins calling me stupid
There's a point of order
across the House, and would ask that she be made to withdraw and apologise for that comment.
Well, no. Order. There was a point of order, and the member, the minister, interrupted during a point of order. I'll ask the member just to withdraw the comment. I'll ask the minister to withdraw the comment.
Oh, yes, I withdraw the comment.
Right. Now, members, this debate has concluded. We have dealt with 6 bills as one question. I can put the 6 bills as one question, or they can be put individually. I will put them as one question. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Legal Services Amendment Bill, third reading. Accident Compensation Amendment Bill, third reading. Care of Children Amendment Bill, third reading. Child Support Amendment Bill number 2, third reading. Family Proceedings Amendment Bill, third reading. Property Relationships Amendment Bill, third reading.
Call on Government Orders of the Day, numbers 8 to 10.
Point of order, sir.
A point of order, Maturi.
My apologies, sir. I understood that you were calling, and I appreciate that I have obviously got this wrong. I understood that you were calling for a vote as to whether or not the vote should all be held as one, not the vote itself. There was no wrong
I
there.
certainly didn't do that. I said that we had 6 bills, and I would put them as one question or individually. Did parties wish to take them individually? No party said they wanted to take them individually, so I put the question. I put the vote to the House, and it was voted accordingly. And no one called for a party vote on that, and that's why the clerk has just read the third reading. The matter is now finished. We're calling on Government Orders of the Day, numbers 8 to 10.
State Sector Amendment Bill, third reading.